this Gully TV and Uncasa beef. Like, I don't like to see, brothers and who was once friends, of course, argue and go back and forth, and it gets kind of messy, and things get ugly. There's memes and whatever. I don't really like to see that stuff, but of course, I'm a YouTuber. I like to watch, and it's entertaining, and I'm very amongst these people. Like, I'm from New York. You know what I mean? I'm from Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn and raised in Queens. I raised my kids in the Bronx, and so on and so forth. I'm definitely a New Yorker. So of course I know Uncasa, Harlem, and I'm kind of like privy to Philadelphia, this Erie, Pennsylvania, where Gully is from. Of course, now, to rewind a bit, I've been following Gully since, like, let's say 10, 15 years ago, if we want to exaggerate. But that's how long I've been following Gully. And to see him actually say that he would smack a bitch right now in 2025 was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was very taken aback, because when I heard Uncasa saying that, he's seen him do some strange things to women, I just was like, wow, maybe Uncasa was fabricating, exaggerating the story a little bit to make him look bad. You know what I mean? It just didn't really resonate with me, because, Gully's always portrayed this, how could I say, righteous brother. He's grew up in the Nation of Islam. His parents was Islam, black, Panther. He's always been this person. So I'm sure that, Muslims don't really at all condone slapping a bitch in 2025. Like, that was wild. So I figured, I'm sitting here in my head like, nah, I gotta chime in, because of course I represent the female species. And not for nothing, one time I encountered some shit with Gully. I wanted to buy this hoodie from him. It was a blue hoodie, and it had something on the front. The hoodie was dope. I ain't gonna hold it. The hoodie was dope, and I did want to buy it. So I kind of inboxed him to ask him, inquiring and blah, blah, blah. But unfortunately, I didn't hear nothing from him. Okay, well, fine. I don't buy the hoodie. No, life goes on. But in the interim, I had was in one of his lives. This happened like maybe 2-3 years ago. I was in one of his lives, and he was talking about vintage clothing, and et cetera, et cetera. Vintage this, vintage that, and he has this and he has that, et cetera, et cetera. So I own a Fendi bag that my mom brought in 1988. I was all of 12 years old, I want to say. So back then, Fendi was, very popular, of course. And I remember my mother paying $250 for this pocketbook back in 1988, literally. And I still have it. So I wanted to show it to Gully. I wanted to show it to him like, yo, look, this is what I got. Don't you know this man dissed me? In the live and everything, this man started screaming, oh, if you have not purchased nothing from Gully TV, don't be trying to get in my live, and et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, wow. I've been supporting this brother how long with his channel, through the likes, through the, watching his content, from day one. Like, why would he, and dude, I did try to purchase something from you, but I never heard from you again. All right, so I let it go. But from then, I started disliking Gully. Like, yo, fuck that nigga. I mean, excuse my language, but yo, oh my God, like, why would you even have came off like that to me? You know what I mean? In front of everybody on your live. That was crazy, when I just wanted to show you something from 1988, which was a Fendi bag that my mom purchased from Macy's for $250 back then. I thought it was dope. I still think it's dope. I still own it. Anyway, so I did respond to him and say, yo, I've been, like, on your lives, like, helping you out, brother, get where you need to be. I have been supporting Gully TV. And he did say, oh, I'm sorry. But it was like real vague, and I was already like turned off with the BS. So moving forward, I stopped really messing with his channel like that. Every now and then I would chime in and watch things that was interesting, or any kind of current events that he might be talking about. Of course, I would watch it. But I would watch it with a vague eye, like, I don't really like this dude no more because of what he said to me. All right, so moving forward, a lot of things he would say. Like, I remember one time he was like, oh, there's no black women in the gym. there's only, a certain dynamic or demographic in the gym, trying to insinuate that only white girls go to the gym and not black girls. All right, there might be some truth to that. You know what I mean? I work in the gym, so there might be some truth to that. I do see it. However, that might just explain why, sometimes I do still watch, because he does hold some type of truth. But I still watch with a vague eye because I didn't like what he did to me. All right, moving forward. Scarlett came out with that song for New York. You know what I mean? The song was dope, whether you vibe to it or not. You know what I mean? He was like, oh, she with all that noise. She got all that noise and this and that. And I'm like, dude, why is you dissing New York? It was like so many accounts with this man and his BS. So now, fast forward all the way to now, I'm like, listening to him really say that he would smack a bitch in 2025. And not only that, I mean, he went on with it. Oh, it's my charisma that got me through doors and this and that. And then you was just like going on and on and on. And you was just like, the disrespect 100 to women was insane. So if I could represent every woman that kind of felt that, I felt that and still feel it. But even though I know what I'm dealing with, like I said, what he did to me about 2-3 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Like, that dude should be canceled, or you know what, I ain't even gonna go there and say he should be canceled. He should just be recognized at the fact that, no, you should not get the woman representation. We should not look at your channel. We should not support Gully TV. As a woman myself, like I said, I only watch because of the current events that he does put on his channel, but I watch with a vague eye. Uncasa, I've been listening to your music since way back when. You are dope, you are dynamic, and you from the hood, you from Harlem, and I do represent you hard body. Keep doing your thing, you know what I mean? Don't worry about nobody else. Get your ass out there and do your thing, you know what I mean? But like I said, Gully TV, wow, I'm not surprised, but I just hope you get right, and you owe the black woman an apology. Yeah, you owe us an apology, because we do represent you. Not only that, I'm a crochet artist. One time I tried to hit, no, 2 times, 3 times, I tried to hit him up like, yo, just look at my page, check out my stuff, you know what I mean? Look at my Instagram, check out all my hats, which are better than his. Because I am a crochet artist. I'm 51 years old, but I've been crocheting since I was 10. So I'm nice with it. You know what I mean? So he dissed me again. Literally. That man dissed me again. So yeah, like I said, you just owe us an apology. I don't care what you do. I don't promote the violence or whatever the beef and everything that you got going with Uncasa. I don't promote none of that stuff. I hope you guys get right, because at one time y'all was brothers. Y'all was friends. You know what I mean? I do remember. You know what I mean? But like I said, you owe us an apology. You can't just keep on making videos and going live and acting like you ain't say what you said, bruh. For real. We heard you. I heard you. I was in the live like, wow. Wizard. You know what I mean? You know? No. You owe us an apology, Gully TV. Okay? You owe the black woman and every other woman, black, Asian, white, whatever the hell, that you think you gonna smack. Because had you smack me, I might not have been able to beat you, but bro, I'd have tried to stab you, shoot you, something. Had you smack the kid, really? Say what you want to say about me, say it and say it again. But like I said, you owe us an apology, Gully. That wasn't cool. It wasn't righteous. You know what I mean? But dang.